CTV presents Friday Night Football. From Taylor Field in Regina, it's the undefeated Toronto Argonauts versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Hello, everybody. I'm Bill Stevenson, and welcome once again to CTV and our Friday night extravaganza that should be a very good one tonight. But let me tell you, you'd never know it by what you see now, which is fine weather. About an hour ago, we had hail, marble-sized. We had lightning, we had thunder, we had wind, we had driving rain. We were looking for typhoons or tornadoes or something, and they almost came. But it's turned out beautiful, as it so often does in Regina. And the CTV's Friday Night Football will join Pat Marsden and Leif Pedersen in a moment.
This game brought to you by Carling O'Keefe, brewers of OV, the Carlsberg family, and Miller High Life. Carling O'Keefe Sports, your box seat to the CFL. Featuring Friday Night Football at its best, a full interlocking schedule of exciting matchups with new powerhouses and renewed rivalries. It's wide open football CFL style. Catch all the action from your home box seat. Carling O'Keefe Sports, bringing the sports world home to you.
Everybody, I'm Pat Marsden along with Leif Pedersen, and in just a few moments we're going to find out if the Toronto Argonauts are as good as they appear to be or if Saskatchewan is as bad as they have shown in their last couple of games. Leif, let's talk about the Argos because they have a couple of changes.
They do indeed, Pat. Due to the injury to Cedric Minner, they will have a new running back in their offensive backfield tonight, number 33, Alonzo Patterson, who's noted primarily for his rushing ability, not necessarily for his catching ability. As well, a new wide receiver. Since training camp, the Argonauts have been trying to find a complement to Terry Greer. They think they found him in number 23, Ken Taylor. He possesses outstanding speed, good hands, they say. We'll see tonight as he makes his pro debut.
Well, you know, we're talking about the Toronto Argonaut changes. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have made some defensively, and understandably, they've had 94 points scored against them in the last two ball games. So we'll get in and talk about those defensive changes in just a moment. But right now, we're going to go down to field level for the singing of our national anthem.
Hoffman in our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, thou true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Lord, keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
The Toronto Argonauts and Saskatchewan Roughriders are all set, so we'll have the opening kickoff in just a moment.
You know what they say about the weather on the prairies? If you don't like it now, wait 5 minutes because it'll change. And look what it was just a few minutes before kickoff time. It's fine right now as Jeff Townsend will return this kickoff for the Argos. Townsend bowls his way out over the 30 to the 31-yard line. That 66-yard kickoff by Dave Ridgway was returned 32 yards. Conrad Holloway will start for the Argos at quarterback tonight.
Well, what happened, it was a severe bruise, and they were concerned mostly with the swelling. Most of the swelling is left, but the pain is still there. But when it comes game day, you just got to play. And Joe Barnes is ready to play if something happens, but I feel like I'm capable of playing, so I'm going to give it a shot.
No problem throwing the ball?
Not so far.
Are you getting a shot or anything?
Oh, no, can't do that. It's still in hand.
Alonzo Patterson with his first carry as a Canadian Football League running back gets out over the 40 to the 42-yard line. He has a first down as Dwayne Galloway, making his initial appearance in the lineup of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, makes the stop.
And there's that Argonaut receiving core that we talked about, the newcomer in there, number 23, Ken Taylor. We'll have to watch and see if he's got that deep speed that we've heard about.
Movement along the line of scrimmage as big Bob Gronk carries the ball from his fullback position. The Argos' number 50, Tom Trefo, appeared to move a little early as Marshall Hamilton came in to make the hit for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
There's that all-Canadian offensive line that Toronto Argonauts used. Mike Hamiluk, the starting center tonight. Excellent tackles in Tom Trefo and John Malinowski.
There's the signal by referee John Ireland that the Argos did move. So it'll be 1st and 15, Toronto. The ball at their 37-yard line. We are just underway before less than a capacity crowd here at Taylor Field. Fans are very upset with their Roughriders. Holloway could not find anybody open, so he scrambles maybe for a pickup of a yard or two. J.C. Pelusi, number 58, made the stop for Saskatchewan.
Pat, it's interesting. You noted in our pregame show that the Saskatchewan Roughriders had made some changes defensively. There you see their front three and the linebackers. The one major change they've made is inserted number 30, Dwayne Galloway, in that defensive backfield. They will go with 6 defensive backs tonight. That time you saw the effect. Conrad Holloway had nobody to throw to.
It is 2nd down, 13 yards to go. Toronto, the ball at their 37, and now they'll be assessed a time count violation. Well, they always say the first few minutes of a football game are very important and may well telltale the entire ball game. We'll see if that's the case, because the Argos have been less than snappy.
Well, that's especially true in the Saskatchewan Roughrider case, Pat, because they've got off to such horrendous starts in their last 2 ball games against BC and Hamilton that I think uppermost in their minds tonight is to make sure they keep it close in the first quarter.
There is an awful lot of pressure on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Their fans are upset. Head coach Joe Farragelli really laid it on the line to the club last Monday at practice. Bob Gronk, and he can roll until he runs into number 30, Dwayne Galloway. He picks up 10 yards, but well short of the necessary yardage because of the penalties, and the Argos will be punting for the first time in the ballgame.
Well, there's number 30, Dwayne Galloway, coming off the field. He's that 6th defensive back. Joe Farragelli feels with his ability to come up and force the run and hit that he is like having a linebacker in there, thus the 6th defensive back system.
So Fran McDermott, number 29, and Stu Fraser, number 11, will drop back inside their 25-yard line in anticipation of this punt from Hank Olisic. It is 3rd and 10 yards to go, Argos. The ball at their 42-yard line. Olisic was just crushing the ball in his pregame warm-up.
I don't think anyone's ever questioned the strength of his leg. He is phenomenal.
And he sends this one deep. McDermott awaits at his 12-yard line. McDermott, who has averaged better than 11 yards a punt return, gets out over the 15 to about the 18-yard line, and that's where the Roughriders will start when we come back. It is still scoreless, and we will be back in just a moment. Well, the Saskatchewan Roughriders will put the ball into play for their first series of offensive plays from their 17-yard line. Chris DeFrance came back into their lineup last week against the BC Lions, and he really is a pivotal cog in that offensive system. The pass intended for DeFrance is over his head with Don Rose covering. And you note that Joe Adams, number 7, is the starting quarterback for the Riders tonight, coming into the ballgame, having completed just 47% of his passes.
Well, Joe Adams getting his first start, looking to Chris DeFrance, probably his favorite receiver in that lineup, and Lyle Wozniacki puts a good shot on him.
So it is 2nd and 10. Saskatchewan, the ball at their 17-yard line. We're just underway with 3 minutes gone in the opening quarter. Adams fires. It is complete to DeFrance. He has the first down and more. Ridden out at the 42-yard line by Leroy Paul, the cornerback on that side. 26 yards to pick up.
Well, there's whom I would suspect would be Joe Adams' favorite receiver tonight, just finding the soft spot in the zone. Good shot from our isolation director, Fred Fleming, as DeFrance makes the catch and picks up some extra yardage down the sidelines.
The Riders would like to get off to a good start. They'd like to put a good series of downs together. Let's see if they can continue it from their 43-yard line. Adams' pass is too low, looking for Ronnie Robinson, his inside receiver on that side. But he couldn't come up with it.
One of the things that has displeased Joe Farragelli about his offense so far this season has been the inconsistency of both John Huffnagel and Joe Adams. He feels if they can improve in that department, it will greatly help the offense.
2nd and 10, Saskatchewan, the ball at their 43-yard line. Robinson, coming into the game, had caught 14 passes, the same number as Dwight Edwards, to lead the club. Adams fires. There's a penalty flag on the play. The ball just took off as he intended it for Stu Fraser, with Don Rose, the cornerback, on that side again, providing the defensive coverage. Have a holding penalty against Saskatchewan declined by the Argonauts. So Ken Clark will come into the ball game for his first punt. Both clubs pick up an initial first down and then bog down. Bob Obilovich, still undefeated in 1983 as the head coach of the Argos. And Clark stands inside his 30-yard line. Not too good a punt. Fielded at the 21-yard line. And so the Argos will put it into play after Greg Holmes returned it 6 yards with the bounce. Ken Clark managed a 46-yard boot. The Argos assumed possession very close to where they took over the first time they had the ball. Just around their 30-yard line. They'll actually spot it down. Now there's a penalty being marched off against Toronto.
Well, field position, which plays such an important part in the football games. Both teams have excellent punters to bail them out of bad field position. And in this case, Ken Clark got a good bounce on his kick, though.
An illegal block assessed against the Argos, which pushes them back to their 18-yard line. Holloway's toss goes to the newcomer, Alonzo Patterson. But the Roughriders, looking much more determined tonight than they have in their last 2 outings, snuffed that one out around the 20.
Well, we suggested that Alonzo Patterson was primarily a rushing type runner. That time, though, no running room. As I had noted in the previous 2 Saskatchewan games, I didn't feel that they were as physical on defense as they might have been. They certainly look like they're ready to hit tonight.
Number 42, Eddie Lowe, a newcomer from the University of Alabama, was in to make the stop. And 2nd and 7, Holloway's pass is behind Terry Greer. There was good pressure from number 62, Al Johns. And so the Argonauts will be punting. And let's say well done to that Saskatchewan defense, which has been so maligned.
Well, they did a good job kind of holding up Terry Greer, whom Holloway was trying to go to. They just rolled his own coverage up to Terry Greer. And there you see Conrad Holloway coming off the field. He took a real good shot from Al Johns, who's starting his first game for the Roughriders at defensive end tonight.
So Hank Olisic stands inside his 10-yard line. Stu Fraser and Fran McDermott are back at the Saskatchewan 35. This one is high, and McDermott moves up to his 43 to take it. And goes no further. Mike Hamiluk was right there to make the stop, but there is a flag on the play. The boot was 45 yards with absolutely no return by McDermott.
Well, we talked about field position in a football game, and we certainly have a good example here how Saskatchewan has improved their position in a hurry.
Well, there you see a major foul, rough play, face masking against the Argos. So the Riders will take over in Toronto territory.
Let's have a look here and see if we can see it. It does appear that Mike Hamiluk did grab the face mask of Fran McDermott.
So the Rough Riders starting from the Toronto 52-yard line with Joe Adams at quarterback, Mike Washington, number 18, and Greg Feger, number 2, as their 2 running backs. Adams completes the Feger. He drops the ball, but appears to have gotten it back at the Toronto 47-yard line.
Well, I like the call of Joe Adams there. When the linebackers are taking those deep drops to cover the inside receivers, the best thing to do is to dump it off to your back, circling out of the backfield. That time he hit Greg Feger. He fumbled the football, picked up 5 yards. Not a bad first down play.
Not a lot of clubs use 4 down linemen, but the Argos do. They have Wozniacki, Wilson, King, and Moore as their front 4. On 2nd and 5, Saskatchewan. Adams pass right through the hands of Chris DeFrance. The ball was there, and DeFrance won't drop many of those.
You know, Leaf, you've played many games at Taylor Field, but have you seen a night where it has been so clean? I mean, there is no wind at all at this time, and that is not unusual. I've never seen it before, especially when you consider an hour ago we were wondering if this game could be played tonight.
Bill, I hope it's just not the lull before another storm coming through here.
You hope.
You've got your umbrella.
Jan Carinci, number 27, and Greg Holmes, 71, dropped back to receive Ken Clark's punt. He had to go high in the air to haul down the pass from center. Carinci allows it to bounce into the end zone. And he falls on it to concede the single point. And so the Saskatchewan Roughriders have gone out in front with 8:21 left to play in the opening quarter. It is Saskatchewan 1, Toronto nothing. We'll be back in just a moment. Hank Olisic, the Toronto punter, on the other side of the field. Ken Clark has just given his Saskatchewan Roughriders a 1-0 lead on a 70-yard boot. And so Toronto begins from their 35-yard line, trailing 1-0. Conrad Holloway has not been effective throwing the football, and I suspect that hand may be hurting him a little more than he wants to admit. Strode past, then brought it down and ran for 5 yards and got to the 40-yard line. J.C. Pelusi, the big right defensive end, number 58, was there to haul him down. Pelusi is a rookie from the University of Pittsburgh. You know, we mentioned that a lot of clubs use that 30 defense, 3 down linemen. The Saskatchewan Roughriders employ Pelusi at right end. Carl Morgan is the new nose guard, and Al Johns, a Canadian who went to the University of the Pacific, number 62, is the other defensive end. It is 2nd and 5, Argos from their 40-yard line. Holloway getting pressure again. Delivers. Tolbert makes the catch and will have a first down. Good individual effort by Emmanuel Tolbert, catching the ball in front of Billy McBride for a 7-yard gain.
Tremendous reaction by Emmanuel Tolbert, as well as the scrambling ability of Conrad Holloway. Gets away from the grasp of Vince Goldsmith. But watch as Emmanuel Tolbert just turns around, the ball's delivered, and he makes an excellent catch to pick up the first down.
Second first down of the ball game for the Argos. 1 rushing, 1 passing. They now have possession at their 47-yard line. Wide open is Pearson. And he was not able to evade the tackle of the only man who was going to stop him, Marshall Hamilton, number 24. A 38-yard completion, Holloway to Paul Pearson.
Boy, did they have the right play called for that particular defense. They caught Saskatchewan in a 3-deep zone. This creates natural seams up the middle for the inside receivers. Paul Pearson found it. Conrad Holloway delivered the ball on the money. Tremendous gain for the Argonauts.
Pearson's 16th catch of this young season gives Toronto possession at the Saskatchewan 25-yard line. They trail 1-0. Holloway rolled out and got to the 25-yard line, which was the original line of scrimmage. So it'll be 2nd and 10. Carl Morgan, number 60, making his start at that nose tackle position, makes the stop.
Well, Al Johns is in his 3rd year with the club, but really his first starting assignment, as well as Carl Morgan and J.C. Pelusi at that defensive line, all being rookies. I might have expected Holloway to try and exploit that early by running with Alonzo Patterson and Bob Bronk. Nevertheless, he's chosen to pass the football.
And will attempt to do so again on 2nd and 10. pass is over the head of the intended receiver, Emmanuel Colbert, with Andre Jones providing the defensive coverage. So we will see Hank Olisic, but instead of punting, he'll try the field goal. That will come from 32 yards out.
I should tell you, too, gentlemen, I just talked to Hank, and I said, have you ever seen this field with so little wind? And he says, well, he said, no, I haven't. But he said, I'd like to tell you that up high, there is some wind. And he says, and that can affect also the punting as well as the field goal kicking. So you can see how the ball reacts as it gets up too high.
Jan Carinci will spot it at the 32. And Olisic will try to put the Argos into the lead. It is good. And so with 5 minutes and 4 seconds left to play in this first quarter, it is Toronto 3, Saskatchewan 1. We'll be back in just a moment. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have the leading rusher in the Western Conference in their backfield, number 18, Mike Washington, who's picked up 172 yards rushing so far this year, but they have not run the ball once so far tonight. We've got 5 minutes, 4 seconds left to play in this opening quarter, with Toronto out in front 3-1. Chris DeFrance couldn't bring it down. It just went off his fingertips. Lamont Meacham, number 18, providing the defensive coverage.
Chris DeFrance working on Lamont Leachman with an out and up pattern, trying to get Leachman to bite on the up pattern. He gets in behind him and just, close. Just couldn't bring it in, but a good pattern by Chris DeFrance. Let me make that Lamont Meacham.
There have been 7 passes thrown so far tonight. 4 have gone to DeFrance, or at least in his direction. Adams quickly fires complete to Ronnie Robinson up to the 50-yard line. It'll be a first down, Saskatchewan. Darrell Wilson made the covering tackle, number 13, at that point. The gain is 14 yards. Adams to Ron Robinson.
Good call by Joe Adams. He knows that number 13, Darrell Wilson, is giving Ron Robinson plenty of room because of Robinson's outstanding deep speed and a good pattern, good catch, first down.
Clock is moving with 4:10 left in the opening quarter. Toronto 3, Saskatchewan 1. Adams dumps it off to Washington, and he was just drilled the moment that the ball got there by number 39, Bill Mitchell.
And flipped out by number 18.
I feel Bill Mitchell is one of the pure hitting linebackers in the Canadian Football League, and you'll see a good example of that right now. Mike Washington could have made the catch, but only a great hit by Mitchell breaks up the play.
So it'll be 2nd and 10, Saskatchewan. The ball at their 49-yard line. White Edwards, number 33, is flanked wide to this side. He has not seen the football tonight. Adams' pass was very nearly picked off by Darrell Wilson, number 13, and had he been able to make that interception, forget about it. It was 6 points.
Darrell Wilson.
A good defensive series for the Argonauts. Good play by Darrell Wilson, and previous play Bill Mitchell.
So Greg Holmes, number 71, and Jan Carinci, number 27, will drop back to receive this Ken Clark punt. Clark will get it away from outside as 35. End over end ball. Carinci takes it on the rim, drops the football. The Roughriders had it momentarily, and the Argos have been declared the possessors of the pigskin. Boy, it was a golden opportunity for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to come up with the ball. But Vince Goldsmith couldn't squeeze it.
Well, he had it. That wet field definitely playing a part in their ability to recover that fumble, but a big break for the Argonauts as they retain possession.
And despite the fact that it's a very pleasant evening right now, you know that the field is soaked, and of course they do not have a machine here that sucks up the water. So though the playing conditions are not bad, the field is wet. Argos with an Argo bounce begin from their 15-yard line. The toss goes to Alonzo Patterson, and Patterson fights his way to the 20. Alonzo Patterson, a rookie from Wagner State, which is in upstate New York, replacing Cedric Minter, for my money, one of the best running backs in football anywhere. And Minter, a very intelligent ball player, as Bob Obilovich was saying last night, maybe the most intelligent on the ball club.
And many times Conrad Holloway has said that Cedric Minter is really the key to that run and shoot offense.
2nd and 5, Toronto from their 20-yard line. Holloway's pass over the head of the intended receiver, Alonzo Patterson.
Well, great pressure by the newcomer, number 42, Eddie Lowe, who's been inserted into that linebacking core of the Rough Riders. He just blew through there. Conrad Holloway just had no time to throw the football. You'll see him coming in between the guard tackle gap. Nobody picks him up. Conrad Holloway's been hit about 2 or 3 times pretty hard in this first quarter.
You'd have to think, Leaf, that Bob Obilovich's fears before this game that they would be charged up, that is Saskatchewan, and they could give Toronto a lot of trouble, is being borne out through this first quarter of play.
Well, absolutely, Bill. We know the Riders have been taking a little heat in their home city here, and they really have to play well tonight if they expect to beat this Toronto team.
Marshall Hamilton came within a whisker of blocking that Hank Olisic punt. The flag comes down. No yards will be the call against the Toronto Argonauts. Dave Singh alertly hopped on that ball. Argos will be penalized, no yards.
We'll have to wait and see, Pat. Number 8, Hank Olisic, was running down after that football. And, of course, in Canadian Football League, he can recover his own punt.
And there's the signal from referee John Ireland. It is no yards waved out.
Super good shot. Marshall Hamilton, a good effort, and no question he distracted Hank Olisic enough that he had a very short punt.
All right, Saskatchewan really in a position now to do some business. They start from the Toronto 43-yard line, trailing 3-1. The draw for Washington, the first running play of the ball game for the Riders, as Mike Washington gets inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line.
Number 72, Darrell Nicholson, is the new middle linebacker for the Argonauts this year, and we have a good look at him as he makes an outstanding tackle on Mike Washington on the draw play. Shoulder square, helmet in the chest. It's a great tackle.
Gain was 4 yards, make it 2nd and 6. Saskatchewan inside the Toronto 40. Adams' pass is caught by Stu Fraser, and he will have a first down inside the 30-yard line. Don Rose was there to touch him down at that point, but a good effort by Stu Fraser. His 9th catch of this young season.
Well, Stu Fraser from the University of New Brunswick, not a flashy guy. You don't hear a lot about him, but very quick, very dependable. Made a good catch to keep this drive going.
First down, Saskatchewan. The ball at the Toronto 28.5-yard line. Adams delivers for Robinson. It bounces off his fingertips. And Adams got the ball away just in the nick of time because Woznezensky and Richard Moore sandwiched him at that point. Moore was last week's winner of the Rothman's Outstanding Lineman Award for his play against the Montreal Concord. We're down to 30 seconds left to play in this opening quarter. Saskatchewan trailing by 2 points. It is Toronto 3, Saskatchewan 1. Again, too low for the intended receiver, Ron Robinson. And so Dave Ridgway will come in to try his first field goal of this ball game.
Not a good throw by Joe Adams. He had Ron Robinson open downfield, would have easily had the first down, and Joe knows it. He knew he should have had that ball in there. He's clapping his hands. He's frustrated.
And probably not any more frustrated than these great Saskatchewan fans who are really irritated by the performance of their ball club this season. Phone-in shows here in town. They were predicting that the Riders would be beaten by 15 or 20 points tonight. And that's very unusual for Rough Rider fans because they stick with the club through thick and thin. Ridgway's field goal is good. And so on the final play of this first quarter, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have gone out in front of the Toronto Argonauts 4-3. We'll return with second quarter action in a moment. Saskatchewan out in front 4-3 as the Toronto Argonauts number 30, Jeff Townsend, returns the kickoff up over the 35 to about the 37-yard line. Eddie Lowe was there to bring him down. A 23-yard return by Jeff Townsend. And now let's see if the famed run and shoot can become more effective than it was in that first quarter. You can see the passing stats. Only 7 passes completed in 19 attempts by both quarterbacks. 3 out of 6 for Toronto, 4 out of 13 for Saskatchewan.
Well, not what we would expect from the Toronto Argonaut offense, but I think that you can attribute that to the 6 defensive back system that the Roughriders have used.
Ken Taylor, the rookie wide receiver with Toronto, still looking for his first pass of the game. As Holloway goes deep, looking for Tolbert just over his head.
Holloway's pass intended for Emmanuel Tolbert. It's incomplete.
Well, I'll tell you, they didn't miss by much on that occasion.
Step for step was 28.
Andre Jones was there with him.
It's 2nd and 10.
Oh, it's interesting, Pat. It looked as though Emmanuel Tolbert maybe let up on that ball a little bit and just didn't realize how far Conrad Holloway can throw it.
So we're just underway here in the second quarter with Saskatchewan enjoying a 4-3 advantage over Toronto. Very low scoring game, certainly not what most people would have predicted. Holloway's pass is complete to the big fullback, Bob Bronk. And riding him to the turf was Vince Goldsmith, number 78. The pickup is but 6 yards, so again, the Argos will be punting.
A lot of people have questioned the ability of Vince Goldsmith as a linebacker against the pass, noted primarily for his pass rushing abilities. This time, he did an excellent job to cover Bob Bronk out of the backfield, make the tackle, and stop the Argonauts from short of a first down.
As a matter of fact, it is 3rd and 4 with the ball at the Toronto 44-yard line as Hank Illicik will be punting. Dermott and Fraser back to receive. High, not that deep, as McDermott moves up to his 24-yard line. And has nowhere to go, so he falls across the 25 to the 26. And when we come back, that's where the Rough Riders will put it into play. It is Saskatchewan 4, Toronto 3, and we'll be back in just a moment. The Argos won both meetings between these two teams last year, and here in Taylor Field, they thumped the Rough Riders 44 to 28. Different story in 1983. Adams, under a lot of pressure, got it away to Figure, who might have been better advised to just drop the ball, because Darrell Nicholson was there to bring him down back of the line of scrimmage. The loss will be 9 yards.
Excellent pressure applied by that front four, and namely number 76, Rick Moore. He forced Joe Adams to just dump the football off, and Darrell Nicholson has had himself a fine first half. Made another good play.
The Argo defense has been the most encouraging aspect of the club from Bob Obilovich's point of view. He feels they have been improving with each game. It is 2nd and 19, Saskatchewan from their 17-yard line. It's floated up for Ronnie Robinson, but the only man to be able to touch it was Darrell Wilson. So again, we'll see Ken Clark. And it'll be interesting to see if that Toronto offense can get on track, because they have gained more than 450 yards in every ball game they have played so far this season.
Well, they've had that run and shoot tuned up in their first 3 ball games, and tonight they haven't got off to the quickest of starts, but I think now, after they receive this punt from Ken Clark, they should enjoy good field position, and possibly after seeing some of the defensive schemes that Regina is using tonight, they'll be better prepared here in the second quarter.
Ken Clark stands inside his 5-yard line to boot. Jan Carinci takes it at the Toronto 51 and runs into Vince Goldsmith right at midfield. So as Leaf pointed out, excellent field position for one of the few times in this ball game for the Argos, who will begin right at midfield. A 42-yard punt by Clark and only a 4-yard return by Carinci. We've got 12 minutes and 25 seconds left to play in this first half. The score, Saskatchewan 4, Toronto 3.
The big Waz, as they called him out in Regina. I wonder if we'll see the Waz Tusi tonight if he gets a sack.
Swing it out to the newcomer Alonzo Patterson. He gives you good second effort and picks up 7 or 8 yards.
And what a break, as Alonzo Patterson has fumbled the football. It appears as they have given possession to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Very difficult to tell who recovered the fumble, but what a break. Let's have a look. Conrad Holloway, just a little swing pass to Alonzo Patterson. Initially, he's hit hard, but he keeps fighting, keeps working. That's number 42, Eddie Lowe, gets the first shot at him. You can see the ball come loose, and there's number 42, Eddie Lowe. Looks like he was the fellow that made the fumble recovery.
Well, the pom-poms are going, and Rider Pride has come to the fore right here because Saskatchewan has taken possession at its 48-yard line. A flag comes down as Greg Feger on the draw gets out over the 50.
You know, Pat, it's interesting when you come into a ball game and you're playing a team that you know has had a couple of bad performances. You don't want to give them any breaks and any advantages, and fumbles and things like that. All they do is just encourage the Rough Riders even more and really make them feel that they have a legitimate chance to win this ball game, which they absolutely do.
Holding, Saskatchewan number 57, first down.
The holding penalty is against the center, Bob Foley, number 57. So it'll be 1st and 20, Saskatchewan, with the ball back at their 38-yard line. They lead it by a point, 4-3. Joe Adams has gone all the way at quarterback. Fires over the middle, and it was very nearly picked off by Kenny McEachran, who just can't believe that he doesn't have his 3rd interception of the year. Right in his hand.
And you don't think he wanted that one against his former teammates. Oh, you have to feel sorry for Ken McEachran. He read the play perfectly, trying to go to the curl pattern. He comes from his free safety position. Should have had the catch.
He was traded to Toronto in exchange for Dave Newman, who didn't make the Rough Riders and is now in Ottawa, attempting to help the Riders out of their miseries. That pass intended for Dwight Edwards was broken up by number 4, Leroy Paul. Well, this has been something less than an offensive great performance.
Well, there's Dwight Edwards coming off the field. They feel that he's matured this year, is catching the football much better, but excellent coverage by number 4, the cornerback of the Argonauts, Leroy Paul. And as a former teammate of Leroy's, I know that these two fellas, Dwight Edwards and Leroy, they don't like each other, and I'm sure we're going to see a good battle between them tonight.
Biggest battle taking place right now between the punters, Ken Clark, who's back on the field right now, and Hank Kalisic. Red boot by Clark. This is Carinci at his 23. And he gets out over the 30 to about the 31. So that's where the Argonauts will put it into play. A 49-yard boot with an 8-yard return, and so the Saskatchewan Roughriders continue to lead the Toronto Argonauts 4-3. We'll be back in just a moment.
The biggest shares and introductions was reserved for Lyle Wozniacki, former Rough Rider. Coming back to the home park, how does it make you feel, and how do you play?
Oh, nervous, excited. I really want to have a good game, but it was nice to get that hand. They're great fans here, and they showed it again. They got a lot of class.
Oh, yeah, there's a guy who's got a lot of class, too, as a great deep threat. Terry Greer of the Toronto Argonauts, who was brought down by Frank Robinson, but not before he gains 21 yards for the Argos out over their 50 to the 52.
Well, you see the respect that Terry Greer commands throughout the league because Billy McBride had him in man-to-man coverage, gave him an awful lot of room, and if he's going to do that, Holloway can complete those passes.
That was the first down of this second quarter by either team. Holloway 6 for 10 in passing. Gives to Bob Bronk, and Bronk was grabbed immediately by Frank Robinson, number 37.
I think if there's been any bright spots in that Saskatchewan defense so far in the 3 games this season, has been the play of linebacker number 37, Frank Robinson. He's a ball hawk. He's around the action every play, and that time, excellent tackle on a tough guy to bring down, Bob Bronk.
4-3 is the score, but the reverse of what you see in first down. Saskatchewan leading it 4-3 over the Argos. It is 2nd and 10, Toronto from their 52-yard line. Holloway's pass, no good. Terry Greer tried to squeeze it before he stepped out of bounds, but the ball went right through his hands. Players really having trouble hanging on to the football tonight.
Well, he should have caught this football. I think it's just lack of concentration. As you saw He turned his head just as the ball was reaching his hands, didn't make the catch, and that hurts. When a team is struggling offensively, you have to have your receivers making those dependable catches. Terry Greer didn't make the catch.
So guess who's back on the field? Hank Olisic, averaging over 43 yards a punt tonight. Stu Fraser and Fran McDermott are back standing inside the Saskatchewan 15-yard line. Olisic aims it for the sideline but doesn't get it there, as Fraser from his 15-yard line has no place to go and actually ends up losing a couple of yards on the return. So the score remains Saskatchewan 4, Toronto 3. We'll be back in just a moment.
Someday, you will have a sophisticated computer system like this to teach you music, to take care of household accounts, file your lists, type your letters, put you into telecommunications, entertain you. But to begin with, you want the Commodore VIC-20. Then, as you grow with VIC, VIC grows with you. The Commodore VIC-20. Now when you buy a VIC-20, you also get 2 games, a joystick dustper, and data set. Normal retail value up to $240.
Joe Farragelli with the headset on. He wants to see if his offense can move out of the shadow of their goalpost. They start from their 12-yard line. Adams pass, and the grab is made at the 25-yard line by Stu Fraser. I'll tell you, he's got good hands, though, Leaf. You know, he's returned punts for a number of years, and obviously that was one of the reasons why they gave him a shot to play that wide receiver spot.
Well, he's very dependable. He's got better than average speed and does a good job. I think Don Rose, the cornerback for the Argonauts, is giving him too much room, but Don Rose nevertheless doesn't want to get beaten deep either. There's number 58, Big Earl Wilson, and he's down on the play. And he and Franklin King have really done a good job this year at those 2 defensive tackle spots. They put that pressure on the quarterback, forced him out wide, and that's a great situation to have when you got ends such as Lyle Wozniacki and Rick Moore crashing in from the outside.
Franklin King coming to the Argos from the Calgary Stampeders. And Earl Wilson was there last year and played in the 1982 Grey Cup game. Only 4 first downs for Saskatchewan in the ball game, all by passing. And the reception by Stu Fraser was the first down reception in this second quarter for the Riders. We've got 8 minutes and 20 seconds left to play in this first half. It is Saskatchewan 4, Toronto 3.
Not really what we expected. We expected without question to see the Toronto Argonaut offense perform well, and also the Saskatchewan offense, because even though they lost in BC last week, Joe Adams did have a good second half, completing a lot of balls.
It was interesting to see that graphic. Home field is supposed to be such an advantage, and obviously it has not been so far in 83. Adams pass again in the dirt in front of Dwight Edwards. Fans getting just a little bit restless with 747. They may have him on a plane out of here.
The old 747. I mean, if that's not the best nickname for a quarterback if I've ever heard one. But he's a little frustrated. Those are some passes that he should be completing. He has a strong arm. It's not a difficult throw for him to throw that wide side out pattern. Should have completed that.
It is 2nd and 10, Saskatchewan from their 25-yard line. And this time, the receiver doesn't grab the ball. Same play to Dwight Edwards. And though it was a little bit low, he had it in his hands and wasn't able to hang on.
Well, this is tough. Both offenses not coming up with the big play. On the last series for the Argonauts, Terry Greer coughs one up now. Dwight Edwards should have made the catch, would have had a first down. And, you know, on a night when the quarterbacks are probably not their sharpest, and on top of that, having receivers drop balls, it really gets frustrating.
You know, some defensive ball games are interesting, but that's because the defense is shutting down the offense. Tonight, it really has been individual mistakes. Clark's punt is taken by Townsend.
Clark's punt is taken by.
So the Argos will take over at their 53-yard line with 7 minutes and 34 seconds left to play in the first half, which has been somewhat less than exciting. Mike Hamelick and Joe Barnes talking things over with head coach Bob Obilovich. This has been the toughest night of the young season for Conrad Holloway, who came into the ball game having thrown 6 touchdown passes and only 2 interceptions. Holloway is very close to the first down. Pinned down there by Frank Robinson.
Well, it so often happens with that run and shoot offense. So many people going in motion. They really spread that defensive alignment across the field. And the quarterback, Conrich Holloway, sometimes if he gets through that initial wave on the pass rush, he can run for 10 yards easily and pick up those first downs as he did on that play.
You know, you've been talking about the fact that there is a little enmity in this city and a little bitterness because of the way the Roughriders are playing. But, you know, despite the fact they're unhappy with their Roughriders, this crowd tonight is less than 1,000 below capacity. Now, without standing room, it's 27.5 approximately, and they have got around 27, maybe 26.5 in the stands tonight. And that is with a tremendous storm that hit just an hour before game time, too. So it is the remarkable support these Saskatchewan fans give their team.
Second and a yard to go, and Conrich Holloway keeps it himself to pick up the first down. And the Argos will continue this drive with the ball now at the Saskatchewan 44.5-yard line.
Good surge by that offensive line of the Toronto Argonauts. Mike Hamillock, the center, Dan Ferroni, and Roland Mangle, the guards. They do a good job. Conrich Holloway just sneaking in behind. Easy pickup.
First down, Argos, just inside the 45-yard line of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And here they come. Holloway reloaded, found Terry Greer, and he's hauled down at the 20-yard line. The stop made by Billy McBride, 10 on 10, a 23-yard pickup.
What an excellent job number 69, Dan Ferroni, the left guard, does. You'll see Frank Robinson, number 37, coming on the blitz. He picks him up, gives Holloway the time to find Terry Greer. When Holloway gets that amount of time and Terry Greer gets that amount of time, those two will hook up on some good completions.
Tony Antinovic is in at center now for the Argonauts, replacing Mike Hamillock. The Argos with a first down at the 20-yard line. And Holloway slides to the turf at about the 12. Pinned there by Eddie Lowe, number 42. And he'll be, it appears, about a yard short of the first down. Best march of the ball game for either club, and it comes with 5 minutes, 20 seconds left to play in this half. The Argos trying to go back out in front. They led 3-1 at one point. It is now 4-3 Saskatchewan. Second down, less than a yard to go, Toronto. The ball is inside the Saskatchewan 12-yard line. And short yardage last time. Holloway just kept it himself. Let's look and see what he does now. Took a stutter step to his left and then just back to the right, and he has the first down as he gets to the 10-yard line. Eddie Lowe, one of many in there to stop him. The short yardage team goes out, and now the regulars come back in, and that means that Alonzo Patterson, number 33, joins Bob Bronk as the two running backs for the Argos. Ball is right at the 10. Greer flanks out to the right of your screen. Newcomer Ken Taylor to the left. And the pass goes underneath to Pearson, who's down inside the 5 to about the 3. Andre Jones, number 28, made the stop.
All down by 28.
Nothing fancy about that play. Paul Pearson and Andre Jones. Pearson just going right out to the flat, trying to use his speed to get into that end zone. Not much you can do as a defensive back there, except just make sure you don't miss the tackle. And Andre Jones wraps him up, keeps him short of the goal line.
Second and goal to go. Toronto, the ball at the Saskatchewan 3-yard line. Holloway was going to roll out of there. The ball comes loose, and let's see. The Roughriders have recovered. The big D comes through again. The defense bails the Roughriders out of a real jackpot and recover the ball at the 1-yard line.
Well, we suggested that number 37, Frank Robinson, has been around the ball. He sure is on this play. As he wraps up Holloway, the ball comes loose, and Vince Goldsmith who as well has had an excellent first half, makes the fumble recovery. And what a break for the Roughriders. Just as the Argonauts seemed as though they were going to take control of this first half, the Roughriders get a break.
And it looked like it was Jerry Friesen who came in with the hit that jarred the ball loose. So Saskatchewan has possession at its own 1-yard line. The give is to Greg Feger, and the ball comes loose. Tip for Thad in the turnover department. The Argos have the football. And now they have a first down at the 2.
What a turn of events. Just as it looked as though the Roughriders were off the hook, they put themselves back in a very vulnerable position. A fumble. You see the ball come loose. The Argonauts recovered.
Really, it is typical of this first half.
First down.
It really has. They've been inconsistent, so they might as well trade fumbles.
And that comes with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left to play in this half. Argos first and goal to go from the 2-yard line. Holloway keeps it himself and surges forward. No indication that he's into the end zone yet.
Well, I'm surprised with a 230-pound fullback such as Bob Bronk that they don't give it to him in that situation. Nevertheless, they still have a good opportunity. 2nd and 1 from the 1.
Conrad's probably said to himself, the safest thing I can do is hang on to it the way things are going tonight.
Well, that's a long jump for Conrad. He's only about 5'9". He's going to stretch it out.
So we've got 2:55 left to play in the half. It remains Saskatchewan 4, Toronto 3. We'll be back in just a moment.
Weekends give you the chance to catch up on the activities in the world of sports. That's why you'll enjoy This Week in Football. I'm Peter Young. Join me this weekend on CTV.
Well, the crowd is very silent here at Taylor Field. Understandably, the Argos have 2nd and goal to go from the 1-yard line. Holloway gives it to the newcomer, Alonzo Patterson, who goes in for his first professional touchdown, and the Argos go back in front.
Well, Alonzo Patterson, not a great drive, only 2 yards, but he gets into the end zone for his first touchdown as a pro. He's a happy young man.
And the Argos obviously are pleased because they have been listless most of this game, but yet they do have the lead. Bill?
Alonzo Patterson, how's it feel for the first professional touchdown?
It was great.
Does it feel good to be back in that Argo lineup?
Yes, it does.
All right, what is happening out there? The defense has been tough thus far, though.
Yeah, they are, but we're going to overcome it, though. Because we have the best offense in the CFL.
All right, Alonzo, good luck. Congratulations on that first TD. I hope you have many more.
All right, thank you.
Well, when you have a 230-pound fullback, you might as well let him lead for your running back. A good block on Andre Jones. Alonzo Patterson knows what to do. Square those shoulders up and get into the end zone.
So, with 2 minutes and 43 seconds left to play in this first half, Hank Olisic's point after was good, and the Argos go out in front 10-4. It's funny, prior to the game tonight last week, those of you who may have seen the Winnipeg Hamilton contest may remember that I had a problem with the score. Bob Hughes, who's the fine sports editor of the Regina Leader-Post, brought me a little present. It's a baby book. It's called Best Counting Book Ever. 1, 2, 3. Haven't made a mistake tonight so far.
You've been excellent tonight.
10-4.
I want to know if you read the book. It only had 1 page.
Dwight Edwards is 10 yards deep in his end zone. And he found a little bit of a seam and was able to get out to the 10-yard line. A 75-yard kickoff by Hank Olisic and a 20-yard return by Dwight Edwards. Bill Mitchell was downfield first to make the stop for the Argos.
That's one thing that the Argonauts have really improved, understandably, with Hank Olisic kicking off for them this year. He consistently gets that ball at least to the goal line, or in this case, deep into the end zone, and really improves their field position with that type of kicking.
Well, the Argos are penalized on the kickoff, so they'll do it all over again. A good friend.
35.
Dick Shadow will be featured on Johnny Esau's Yesterday in the CFL. Be interesting to see what Dick's up to these days. And we'll bring you up to date on what's happened in the Canadian Football League this past week, and also introduce you to the Rothman Stars of the Week. Leaf and I will take a look at the first half highlights. That should last about 40 seconds.
Well, we'll put something together, Pat.
We'll also take a look at the tremendous victory by the Edmonton Eskimos, 44-4 over the Roughriders right in Ottawa last night.
Well, if anyone was concerned that age might catch up to that ball club, they can perish the thought, because they just looked awesome.
Alyssa drives this kickoff down to Edwards. Almost knocked him over. He was going so fast. And Edwards scrambles his way out to about the 27 or 28-yard line. A 68-yard boot by Alyssa. 25-yard return. And let's see if the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who have not been impressive offensively, can get something going here in the final 2.5 minutes of this second quarter. They've got lots of time to move the ball. They don't want to get desperate now, because if the Argos were ever able to pick one off and get back into the end zone again, that could be serious trouble for the Riders. They're certainly in the game right now, trailing by just 6 points. Washington, the ball carrier, and he's knocked off his feet by number 72, Darryl Nicholson, the middle linebacker.
What an outstanding play, too, by Darryl Nicholson. He read the trap play perfectly, sneaks through the hole, and makes another tremendous hit. Boy, he's had an excellent first half. And, of course, at the end of the game, when we choose our Carling O'Keefe Game Stars, we'll certainly have to consider him as our defensive star of the game.
And we'll have to look at Frank Robinson and Eddie Lowe of the Saskatchewan Roughriders in that category as well. The loss was a couple of yards. It is 2nd and 12, Roughriders. Pass complete to Stu Frazier, and the little guy has a first down out to the 40-yard line. Don Rose finally brought him down, but the gain is 15 yards.
Probably the best.
Frazier has caught 3 balls tonight.
Excuse me, Pat, probably the best delivery of the evening by Joe Adams. Good follow-through, step forward. Nice pattern by Stu Frazier. Good first down. Needed that first down with just 2 minutes remaining in the first half. They didn't want to give the Argonauts the football.
Riders have only rushed for 3 yards in this first half. Adams looking for Edwards. The defense provided by Leroy Paul. Incomplete, so it'll be 2nd and 10.
Covered in step number 4.
Excellent job by Leroy Paul, the fine cornerback of the Argonauts. Dwight Edwards running what we call a post corner pattern, where he breaks to the middle and then back to the corner of the sideline. Leroy Paul step for step. There we have a look at the tail end of that play. Ball overthrown. I think Dwight Edwards really cut that pattern off because of the good coverage of Leroy Paul.
Minute 46 left to play in this second quarter. Toronto 10, Saskatchewan 4. Take the draw. And Adams throws. Complete to Stu Frazier. Now, does he have enough for the first down? Leroy Paul covering on the play. And it would appear that he has moved the yardsticks again. So the little guy from the University of New Brunswick is really trying to carry the Roughriders in this passing game so far this evening.
Well, for a young receiver, Stu Frazier shows a lot of poise on that pass pattern. So many times when you need 10 yards, you find the receivers go down and only get you 9. That time he went down 12. Made sure he had the first down when he ran to the out pattern.
6 first downs, all by passing for Saskatchewan. Again, Frazier makes the catch and gets out of bounds at the Toronto 44-yard line, with Don Rose making the tackle.
Stu Frazier becoming a secret weapon for the Roughriders tonight. That time the Argonauts coming with a safety blitz. Ken McEachran late getting there, man-to-man coverage. Donovan Rose giving Stu Frazier far too much room. Another first down.
A gain of 14 yards. The clock is stopped with 1:21 left to play in this first half, and the Roughriders are on the move. Swing it out to Washington. Touchdown, Mike Washington. What a beautifully executed swing pass to Mike Washington. Outstanding blocking, and he goes 44 yards to put the Roughriders back in a tie, and the point after to come.
Well, wide receivers are not noted for their blocking ability, but watch number 33, Dwight Edwards right there on Lamont Meacham. Roger Aldag, 44, the guard out in front. Excellent open field running by Mike Washington. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have gotten themselves back in this ball game in a hurry.
Now, this is what we were expecting to see at Taylor Field, Regina tonight. 10-10 the score. Dave Ridgway's point after to come with 1 minute and 9 seconds left in the half. The point after is good. The Roughriders are back in front, 11-10. Isn't it amazing how a football game can go, 20, 25 minutes, all is quiet, and then all of a sudden it erupts.
Well, Washington does an excellent job setting up his blocks. Good job by those blockers. But boy, I'll tell you, Pat, you're right. We've had no offense, and all of a sudden, the Saskatchewan Roughriders come alive. I think a lot of credit has to go to Stu Fraser, the young receiver. He made some key catches in a row to get them down the field. Mike Washington, great individual effort.
There isn't a place you can enjoy a football game more than Taylor Field. They get right into it. The pom-poms are going. The team fight song is playing. They've got the hats on. We're so used to seeing Toronto Blue Jay hats. And you look out here, and all you see are the big green of the Riders. Now the Argos hoping to get something going as Townsend gets out of bounds up around the 30 or 31-yard line. With 1:03 left to play in the half. A 65-yard kickoff by Ridgway, a 31-yard return.
31.
So the Argos now have lots of time to see if they can regain the lead. They trail by a point, and they'll begin from their 31.5-yard line. Ken Taylor, the rookie, number 23 from San Jose State, still looking for his first pass of the game. Holloway's pass, intended for Emmanuel Tolbert, was knocked away by Billy McBride.
Excellent play by number 10, Billy McBride. Emmanuel Tolbert was not his man to cover, but he read the play, came off his man, comes across, almost made the interception. Had not Marshall Hamilton come in front of him, probably would have made the catch.
So with 57 seconds left in the half, Alonzo Patterson goes out of the ball game. Jan Carinci comes in.
Well, you could just feel the crowd, everybody picking up here with good defensive play, and of course that touchdown on Mike Washington.
Carinci makes the catch. There was great pressure on Holloway, but he was able to spot Carinci underneath the linebackers, and Carinci gets out over the 45 for a gain of 15 yards before he's brought down by Eddie Lowe.
What a valuable performer Jan Carinci has been for the Argonauts. He backs up at so many positions, slot back, the running back spots, and last week his two touchdowns against the Concord were the key.
Holloway's pass for Terry Greer is caught, and then he steps out of bounds at the Saskatchewan 47.5-yard line.
Terry Greer, the experienced receiver that he is, does an excellent job. They're rolling up in a zone to try and shut him off. Holloway finds the seam. Andre Jones, number 28, just cannot get over from his safety position in time. The Argonauts are on the move. They have 36 seconds left, and they have time to score.
17 yards the game. First down, Toronto at the Saskatchewan 47. Holloway over the middle, looking for Terry Greer, deflected away. Hamilton and McBride were both there.
Billy McBride shaking his head. He doesn't know what he has to do to make an interception. He's applied excellent coverage when he's been in man-to-man situations with Terry Greer.
And you're right, Billy is still looking for his first interception of the year, not only of this ball game. And with an injured Toronto Argonaut, Tony Antinovic down on one knee. Freddie Dunbar, one of the truly outstanding trainers in the CFL, comes out to attend to him. 31 seconds left to play in the second quarter. The Argos trail by a point, 11-10. It is 2nd and 10. Toronto with the ball at the 47-yard line of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. All the way over the middle, and Pearson is there. Pearson is down to the 5-yard line with 23 seconds left to play in the quarter. 42 yards to gain on the pass reception by Paul Pearson.
First down, ball is
One
on
of the problems the Saskatchewan Roughriders have had on defense is when they are blitzing, their defensive backs have not challenged the receivers that time. Far too much room given to Paul Pearson. He makes the catch, and number 30, Dwayne Galloway, makes the tackle, but not before Pearson has a big gain and really put the Argonauts in super scoring position.
And wisely, the Argos call a timeout with 23 seconds showing on the clock. Toronto trailing 11-10, but now in a position to go into halftime with the lead.
Well, Pat, the last drive by the Saskatchewan Roughriders and this current drive by the Argonauts, that's what we expected to see. And upcoming July 30th, the BC Lions will be visiting the Hamilton Tiger Cats at Ivor Wynne Stadium. You fans in the Hamilton area, get out and watch that. The BC Lions have an exciting team.
All right, and then we'll be in Calgary on Sunday as the Montreal Concord, a very impressive club defensively, who unfortunately for them have suffered some injuries, will be in against Jack Otis' Calgary Stampeders in a critical ball game for both those clubs. We'll have it for you here on the full CTV network. And tomorrow night in Hamilton, it should be a great one as the BC Lions visit the Ticats. Holloway was able to sneak his way into the end zone. It just opened up for him on the right side. He took a semi-roll out to the left, and then when everybody was covered, he just walked his way into the end zone.
If you talk to defensive coaches throughout the league, they not only fear that run-and-shoot offense, what they fear the most is when Conrich Holloway breaks containment. He didn't get outside the containment that time, but just his great athletic ability, found a hole, an easy route into the end zone.
So the Argos are back in front, 16-11, with the point after to come from Hank Alyssa. And it's good. Well, boy, oh boy. The Canadian Football League truly is exciting when they get their act together, because here we have 21 points scored in the last 5 or 6 minutes. The Argos appear to be ready to go to the locker room in front of the Saskatchewan Roughriders 17-11 with 17 seconds left to play.
Well, you know, the interesting thing, Pat, I think that when we look at the Toronto Argonauts, they didn't have their best game of the season, of course, last week against the Montreal Concord. Nevertheless, they won the football game. They hadn't played well in the first and halfway through the second quarter. They finally got the gel. The defense held them in there. But all the good teams, as you look at past history, win the games when they're not playing well. They're finally playing better tonight, but I think this is the key that the Argonauts have finally gotten to.
Well, I know that Coach Bob Obilovich feels they can play much better than they have so far. He feels that the offense is, you know, fairly consistent, and the defense has been improving game in and game out. So he feels they're going to be there when the chips are all counted at the end of the card.
Well, there's no question they will be. They have the talent. Good bench strength on their club as well.
White Edwards allows the ball to bounce. He was hoping it would go out of the end zone, but it doesn't, so he has to pick it up. And now is forced to concede the single point. That's kind of a tough break for Edwards in a way, because he was under the impression it would roll right out of the end zone, and it got to about 6 inches away from the dead ball line.
Well, I think it's a bad play by Dwight Edwards, because he should have never allowed the ball to get that far with only 14 seconds on the clock. It wouldn't really matter if he only got out to the 2 or 3 yard line. To give up a single point in that situation, I think is absolutely a mental mistake on his part.
So it makes it 18-11 for the Argos with 14 seconds showing on the clock. Well, let's take a look at this single point as the ball rolls toward the dead ball line.
Well, no question. He was hoping it would go out. Took an Argo bounce.
That's happened a couple of times tonight. Adams throws, looking for Chris DeFrance, who made the catch but is ruled out of bounds. Boy, it was a spectacular leaping grab by DeFrance, but he came down.
Well, he's a great athlete, and he can make those kind of catches. But as you see, when he touches the ground, definitely out of bounds. Excellent call by the official.
2nd and 10.
8 seconds showing on the clock. Well, air it out, I would think, Joe Adams.
Well, he's got the arm to do it.
Oh, boy, he could throw it into downtown Saskatchewan tonight. Pass is complete to DeFrance, and DeFrance gets to the Saskatchewan 53-yard line with no time showing on the clock. The gain was 17 yards. And let's see what referee John Ireland has to say about this.
Check the clock again.
Referee John Ireland is coming over to the timer's bench. And now they've put 1 second back up on the clock. It was definitely at 0-0-0. And now they put a second back on. So there'll be time for one more play. Flag comes down. Adams going deep for Dwight Edwards, but he couldn't get to the ball. Leroy Paul and Lamont Meacham were back covering, but there was a flag on the play. Procedure penalty against Saskatchewan, and that will be the end of the first half. So the score after 30 minutes of play, the Toronto Argonauts 18, the Saskatchewan Roughriders 11.
John Hufnagel, who is the other quarterback, and there's no...
It's 18-11 at halftime here at Taylor Field in favor of the Toronto Argonauts over the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Leaf, the Argos run and shoot didn't do much running, but they did get their passing game going early in the ball game, then fell away from it a little bit, but they sure do have an explosive offense.
Well, they really do, Pat. Not a great deal to cheer about in the first quarter. A couple of good individual plays by some receivers on the Toronto Argonauts, namely Paul Pearson and Terry Greer. The first highlight we're going to have a chance to look at, Paul Pearson down the zone. He catches Saskatchewan defense in a 3-deep zone. A natural seam is created. Good delivery by Conrad Holloway. Excellent catch by Paul Pearson, 38 yards. Now, one of the great receivers in the CFL last year, and of course this year, Terry Greer, number 10, working on Billy McBride. Good delivery again by Holloway. But those were really the only two outstanding plays that we saw early in the ball game. Both offenses having difficulty moving the football.
But you know, we talked about how Canadian football is so different than any other game because they can lull you to sleep and then all of a sudden whack, they come right at you again. And Saskatchewan did that late in that second quarter.
That certainly is an exciting game that we have in the CFL. And, you know, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they had their backs to the wall. Toronto had been moving the ball against them, but all of a sudden a little swing screen pass to Mike Washington. An excellent block by number 33, Dwight Edwards. And watch how Mike Washington sets up his block by Roger Aldag, number 44, the offensive guard. Some good open field running, and he's into the end zone for the first Saskatchewan touchdown. I might add that Stu Fraser had 4 catches in that drive to help that touchdown. But then the Argonauts come back, a blitz. They catch Saskatchewan in a full blitz. Paul Pearson, being covered by Andre Jones, makes the catch down to the 5-yard line. And this sets up just a great individual run by Conrad Holloway. Nobody to throw to, but he has the great athletic ability. 5 yards into the end zone. The Toronto Argonauts have a halftime lead, 18-11.
And that's exactly what it is. This is CTV.
Saskatchewan and maybe the CFL too.
I think so, Bill. This year will be the 101st year that Canadian football will have been played as an organized sport in Canada, and I fully expect it to be around 100 years from now.
How do you see the future, Jake?
Just that way, onward and upward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goodall.
Good to hear Jake say it, and I think those of us who love this game so much feel just as confident as he does. It is first down, Saskatchewan, after the return by Dwight Edwards of 25 yards. The ball will be spotted inside the Saskatchewan 20. The attendance tonight, 25,744. That's for a club that has had 94 points scored against it in its last 2 outings. But, you know, it really is a happening. Saskatchewan football is a happening. If you're in this town and there's a football game on, everybody is talking about it.
I tell you, Pat, win or lose, the fans have a good time when they come to Taylor Field.
Washington on the draw, gets out over the 20 to about the 21. Darrell Nicholson, the middle linebacker, number 72, was there to make the stop for the Argonauts.
Well, as I suggested at the close of the second quarter, Joe Adams remains the quarterback here to start the second half, and really believe he got a handle on things late in the second quarter, and of course Joe Farragelli must feel the same way as he's left him in there.
Statistician Bob Lees points out that the only time that Saskatchewan completed more than one pass successively, it resulted in their touchdown to Washington. So a little more consistency would help their cause. But it won't happen on this drive because the Argos come up tough defensively. Earl Wilson makes the stop on the ball carrier, Mike Washington.
Number 72, middle linebacker Darrell Nicholson has been very active tonight, this time coming on the blitz. He'll get some help from 58 Bubba Wilson eventually, but a good first series for that Argo defensive unit, who for the most part this evening have played extremely well.
Ken Clark, as you see, averaging very close to 50 yards. He's punting on 3rd down and 8. Greg Holmes takes it at his 40-yard line. A neat return. He just ducked under the first wave of tacklers and gets the ball out very close to midfield. A 48-yard punt by Clark and a 13-yard return by Holmes before Marshall Hamilton, number 24, brought him down.
Well, Greg Holmes, the backup wide receiver for the Argonauts, finds a little hole, accelerates through. Just a good tackle by 24. Marshall Hamilton prevents him from going a long way.
Conrad Holloway was telling us at halftime that he's having trouble because the ball is wet, and that's one of his problems in throwing it. Let's see what happens on this series. The flag comes down as Holloway finds that sideline wide open for him, and he gets down to the 37-yard line, but the penalty may well be holding Toronto.
Well, that run-and-shoot offense is predicated on Holloway's quick release of the football, that time looking to newcomer Ken Taylor. I think there was a mix-up on the pattern. Holloway had to run. Consequently, it looks as though the Argos will be called for holding.
Ball is spotted back at the 43-yard line. Here's the call.
Holding. Toronto number 50. First down.
Tom Trefo, the left offensive tackle, called for holding. And so what would have been a 20-yard gain by Holloway is negated, and it brings up 1st and 20 Toronto back at their 43-yard line. We're just nicely underway here in the second half. Toronto leading Saskatchewan 18-11. Jan Carinci couldn't hang on as they tried to set up that screen.
An example of what I alluded to earlier in our pregame show, that Alonzo Patterson was probably not a great pass receiver. I think we see the results as Jan Carinci has been inserted into the lineup in that running back position. A much better pass receiver.
2nd down and 20.
So it's 2nd and 20 Argos. The ball at the Argonaut 43-yard line. Again, the flags come down as Holloway looking for Terry Brewer on the sideline, and the pass goes incomplete. Holding Toronto.
Once again, Holloway needing a little extra time to find a receiver, and that offensive line getting caught on a holding call. Those are not the envious positions to be in.
Toronto number 69. Decline. 3rd down.
Dan Ferroni, the left offensive guard, called for holding on that particular occasion, but the Roughriders declined the penalty because it will force Hank Olisic to punt on 3rd and 20.
I'm saying it's not too many playbooks have plays in there for 2nd and 20 situations. That's a tough spot to be in.
Rand McDermott and Stu Fraser are back awaiting this punt from Olisic. He angles it towards the sideline, and Fraser backs up to his 15. Well, he wanted to get outside, but there was good coverage by the Toronto Argonauts special unit. And the Roughriders will start in a hole back at their 15-yard line. When we come back, it is Toronto 18, Saskatchewan 11, and we will be back in just a moment.
This is what all all small players in the CFL hope for, a matchup where 6-foot, 185-pound Dave Singh gets to unload on a 6'4", 250-pound lineman. What a good block.
Dwight Edwards coughs up the football. The Argos recover, and in for the major score is Leroy Paul. Oh, that has got to be a backbreaker for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who were pinned deep in their own zone because of the tremendous punt by Hank Olisic. He had driven it 52 yards. That just took away any possible field position the Riders would have had, and watch as Dwight Edwards coughs up the ball.
Wow. What a break for the Toronto Argonauts. The defense has played exceptionally well, and really only fitting that they should get on the scoreboard for their team. And Leroy Paul, ever alert as he picks up the fumble by Dwight Edwards. And he's into the end zone. And boy, what an awful break for the Roughriders early in this third quarter.
You know, when you're a struggling team and you're trying to get your act together, that is the kind of a misfortune you certainly don't need. The point after by Olisic is good. That was Edwards' first reception of the ball game, and the result was disastrous. Argonauts 25, Roughriders 11.
Well, it seems when you're struggling, nothing good happens, and just an awful way to start the second half for the Roughriders. There's Leroy Paul on the sidelines, an alert play to pick up that fumble.
Bill, what's happening?
Well, what's happening is there's a very happy guy named Leroy Paul. Leroy, how did that pop into your hands?
Well, they was trying a quick hitch, and we've been working on it all week because he had scored on it against BC. So I saw him try it, and unfortunately I forced him to the inside, and he got a good hit from the linebacker. I think it was Ron Morehouse or one, and just popped out his hand. Fortunately, I was able to recover and score.
In other words, looking at the film shows you what's coming up, and that makes you aware around the ball, and that's why you were there and able to take it when he coughed it up.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
What about, though, that offense? It's not really bothering you. You seem to have it under control.
Well, you know, they have a lot of young guys, you know, and they're more or less trying to get things together right now in the second half, and hopefully we can come through with a stronger second half defensively.
All right, let's get the kickoff.
Thanks.
Darrell Nicholson was the one who jarred that ball loose and allowed Leroy Paul to get that major score as Fran McDermott takes the kickoff from his 5-yard line. McDermott crosses the 20 to about the 22. And so the Riders now have really dug themselves a hole. They trailed by 14 points, 25-11. The 60-yard kickoff by Olisic was returned 17 yards by Fran McDermott. And now it is really incumbent upon Joe Adams and that Saskatchewan offense to get it going.
Well, as breaks so often decide the outcome of football games, really a gift for the Toronto Argonauts there, that touchdown.
But this is the point where if the Riders don't get moving, they're liable to get blown right out again. The pass is complete to Chris DeFrance. DeFrance is drilled down at the 40-yard line by Leroy Paul. And Ron Morehouse was there as well, but it is a 19-yard gain.
Well, with the Argonauts up by 14 points, they're content to sit back in a zone coverage. And Chris DeFrance does an excellent job at reading that zone, finds the soft spot. Good throw by Joe Adams.
Well, we've got lots of time for the Riders to get it going. They trail by 14, but we've only played 4 minutes of this third quarter. Adams' pass complete again to DeFrance. And DeFrance squirms his way up to the 50. He'll be short of the first down by about a half yard. Bill Mitchell drilled him out at that point. Second down, a yard to go, Saskatchewan.
Second down and
ball at their 50-yard line. 10.5 minutes left to play in this third quarter, and the Roughriders are down by 14. Washington, the ball carrier, and he struggles his way for the first down. So the Roughriders put back-to-back first downs together. Darrell Wilson was there to bring down Mike Washington, but he picked up a couple of yards, and he needed less than one. Riders have come out running the ball more in this third quarter than they did in the entire first half.
First and 10 from the 52-yard line.
Adams' pass is complete to Dwight Edwards, and Edwards steps out with another first down around the Toronto 45, making the catch in front of Leroy Paul. The gain is 13 yards.
Well, Well, the Argonauts know that every time Dwight Edwards gets his hands on the football, he has the potential and the ability to go all the way. That time, a full blitz by the Argonauts, bringing all three linebackers. Leroy Paul, man-to-man coverage, giving and respecting the speed of Dwight Edwards.
Adams over the middle, and it is complete to Washington. And Washington gets to about the 37. He'll be short of the first down, but he gets close to 7 or 8 yards before Darrell Nicholson, number 72, the middle linebacker, made the stop. This has been a nice drive, though. They didn't panic. They just went about it systematically, and they've moved the ball all the way down inside the Toronto 40.
Well, you know, Pat, a year ago, Joe Adams might have tried to force that ball into one of his wide receivers or inside receivers. That time, just dump it off to the back and get your 8 yards. Good first down play.
Adams pass complete to Stu Fraser. He'll have another first down. Don Rose rode him down roughly, but the little guy hung out of the ball. And what a night it's been for Stu Fraser. He's caught 6 for a total of 68 yards.
Well, Fred Fleming has captured Stu Fraser on an isolation shot here. Just a quick out pattern, 2nd and 2. That's all you need. And a good throw by Joe Adams, wide side of the field. That's a long way.
Seven completions in a row, 5 in this drive for quarterback Joe Adams. And that time the throw is low, but Edwards was able to scoop it up at the 20-yard line. Pickup of 12 yards and another Saskatchewan first down.
Joe Faragelli told me yesterday that Dwight Edwards has become much more consistent catching the football this year. That time a great adjustment, sliding on the ground, cushioning the ball in his chest. A good catch to pick up a well-needed first down.
An impressive drive by the Riders, who have fallen behind by 14 points. I think I was number 66 in that one. This is Washington fighting and scratching his way inside the 15, but there is a flag on the play. And the procedure penalty will be called on the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Mistakes hindering the Saskatchewan offense last week. A touchdown reception by Ron Robinson was called back due to a holding penalty, and this has to be a concern because when you get down in scoring territory like this, you just cannot have those mistakes.
Jim Mann's number 26.
Saskatchewan number 61, first down.
61 is Brian Ellerbrun, their right tackle. Jim Mann's number 26 is into the ball game. Greg Feger, number 2, is out. On 1st and 15, Rough Riders. Adams in a lot of trouble, but gets away from it. And really, he did a very professional job in, first of all, eluding the rush, and secondly, the rush, incidentally, of the free safety, Ken McEachran, who blitzed in there, and then he just got rid of the ball to save the loss of yardage.
Good call, Pat. Ken McEachran coming on that safety blitz and really took the Rough Rider offense by surprise, came in totally free, and Joe Adams did a good job just to get that ball away and save the loss.
So it is 2nd and 15. Rough Riders, the ball at the Toronto 25. We've played half of this third quarter. Argos ahead by 14 points. Adams again in trouble, and McEachran gets him this time. The first sack of the ball game goes to former Saskatchewan great Ken McEachran. He just missed him last time, but he got to the Saskatchewan quarterback this time for a loss of 14 yards.
That's a big play for the Toronto Argonauts. Just when it appeared as though the Rough Riders were getting themselves back into this ball game, Ken McEachran comes up with an outstanding defensive play. As Pat said, missed on the previous one. That time, no miss there.
Bill?
If you notice now, Terry Greer's getting washed down. Well, not really washed down. What he's getting is a little mosquito repellent, they hope. The big dive bombers are out, and every one of the Argos is getting the mosquito repellent. I'm going to ask if I can have some.
Ridgway's field goal is good from 46 yards. Well, that'll give them a little impetus. Ridgway's 46-yard field goal closes the gap to 11 points. And so with the score, Toronto 25, Saskatchewan 14. We'll be back in just a moment. It is Toronto 25, Saskatchewan 14 with 6 minutes, 55 seconds left to play in the third quarter. I'm Pat Marsden with Leif Pedersen and Bill Stevenson. We're here at Taylor Field, Regina, with more than 25,000 screaming Rough Rider fans who want to see their defense come up big, but on that occasion, Terry Greer was able to outduel Billy McBride for the ball. The Argos pick up 16 yards and a first down.
Well, that is the prime execution of the run-and-shoot offense. Just a quick short roll by Conrad Holloway, quick slant pass pattern by Terry Greer. Very difficult to defend against.
First down for the Toronto Argonauts in this third quarter, despite the fact that they've scored a touchdown on the fumble recovery by Leroy Paul. Holloway just dives across midfield and picks up very close to 5 yards.
He certainly had to do a lot of running tonight, Pat. I'm sure a lot more than Bob Abilovich would like him to, but when the receivers are covered, you don't have much choice.
Scott McGee has got to be sitting in Hamilton right now saying, why did they cut me in place of Ken Taylor? They haven't thrown the ball to Taylor yet. I could have done that.
Well, you're right. We heard about the speed in the hands, but we haven't had a chance to find out.
Pass bounces in front of Terry Greer. And Holloway obviously showing his disgust as he walks off the field. But it will give the Rough Riders an opportunity to get another drive going.
If you play for the Blue Jays, I'd call that an error.
Boy, have they created a little excitement across the country.
They sure have. Toronto's really hopping. The Blue Jays just provided us with just some tremendous entertainment.
And, of course, you can see them now to the end of the season here on CTV. Boy, Olisic is just a tremendous punter. Let's see where he drove this one out. They rule that he kicked it out of bounds inside the goal area, so it will be a single point. Hank was aiming it, of course, out of bounds inside the 5-yard line, but he'll have to be content with the single point for a 26-14 lead for the Argos. And you know, a lot of players playing in the CFL have come from junior football programs across Canada. And right now, we'd like to tell you about some games that are going to happen in various areas tomorrow. For instance, at 8 o'clock in Windsor, it'll be Montreal at Windsor. And then Burlington will play against London at 1 o'clock. And Oshawa will play in Ottawa at 1 o'clock. And all those games take place tomorrow. And I don't know if that's what it said on the graph, but that's what it says on the information sheet we were given. So find out if there's a junior football game in your area and go out and support them.
Pat, on the sidelines right now at the Argonaut bench, it is Joe Barnes throwing the ball. He will be going in. The hand of Condredge Holloway is hurting him too much. He's unable to grip and throw the ball, and so Condredge is out of the ball game.
Well, Joe Barnes did a good job last week coming in when Holloway was knocked out with that hand injury. Did an excellent job against the Argonauts, and not only the hand bothering, it looks as though he's rubbing on some of that mosquito repellent as well.
On second and short yardage, the Saskatchewan Roughriders just hang on to it, pick up the necessary yardage, and have a first down outside their 45-yard line. Bill?
Condredge Holloway, tell us about the hand.
It's just, I can't grip the ball. It's just very painful, and I've gotten a few shots on it today. And I mean, why should I go out and maybe hinder the team when we got a guy capable as Joe Barnes to play? So I just think it's best that Joe plays.
One of the great strengths of the club is having two quarterbacks such as yourself and Joe.
That's true, and I don't have like any confidence in Joe. I'm glad to see him play, but I just wish I could play, but I just can't play.
So we'll see Joe Barnes next time Toronto gets the ball, but right now Dwight Edwards has given the Saskatchewan Roughriders yet another first down. At the Toronto 51-yard line, Ken McEachran was there to force him out of bounds.
We have to admire the strength of the arm of Joe Adams. That was a long throw, a deep out pattern, and he's got a real rifle. He earns that name 747, honestly.
Okay, let's bring you up to date on the time. 3 minutes, 35 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Toronto 26, Saskatchewan 14. Riders on the move again. Adams throw, no good. Looking for Stu Fraser.
Well, it just goes back to what Joe Farragelli told us yesterday at the press conference. He said it's really been the inconsistency of his quarterbacks that's hurt the offense as much as anything. The previous play, an excellent throw by Joe Adams. That time, a very poor throw.
So it brings up a 2nd and 10, Saskatchewan, with the ball at the Toronto 51. Adams throws, this time right on the money to Ron Robinson. He has the first down. Darrell Wilson makes the tackle. The ball will be spotted inside the 40-yard line for a pickup of 12. But that was such an astute observation that you made. There has been very little consistency in Adams, and yet when he does deliver the ball on the target, he looks sensational doing so.
I think often, Pat, if we watch him closely, he throws off his back foot sometimes, and that gets him into problems. That time, he stepped up into the pocket. He knew he had to give a good delivery. Good coverage by Darrell Wilson. Nice throw.
First down, Riders. Adams in trouble, delivers for Fraser, but the pass was too low and goes incomplete.
The pass intended for Stu Fraser is incomplete.
I think this replay will illustrate what I just said. If we could get a good look at Joe Adams, he's going to take a hit here, but really throws off his back foot. He doesn't get comfortable, and when you're throwing that out pattern, you have to follow through. I think with Lyle Wozniacki coming into your face mask, might make you do that, though.
I suspect it would. 2nd and 10, Riders. The ball just inside the Toronto 40 with 2 minutes, 20 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Toronto ahead by 12. Adams pass again. Low and in the dirt in front of Ron Robinson. Dave Ridgway will come on, and it's certainly within his range.
Now, once again, we keep repeating ourselves, but really the inconsistency of Joe Adams at this point. Ron Robinson is wide open. Will no doubt have a first down, but just a horrible throw. And I don't know what you do if you're head coach Joe Farragelli. He's been so sporadic tonight. When he's been good, he's been very good. And what do? Do you
well,
warm up John Huffnagel?
Let me tell you what you do. You change quarterbacks if you listen to the fans, because the Boo Birds are out there booing heavily, or where, following that pass.
Oh, Huffnagel's on the sidelines, got the jacket off, so you never know.
The field goal is good by Ridgway. That one came from 46.5 yards. His previous one was 46. So Dave Ridgway comes through with back-to-back field goals. And now, with 1:57 left to play in the third quarter, it is Toronto 26, Saskatchewan 17. We'll be back in just a moment.
One of the biggest threats as far as the Argos are concerned is Hank Olisic, but he has pulled a hamstring and undoubtedly will not be punting. Carinci has been warming up.
Joe Barnes has been warming up, and he's in the ball game. His pass intended for Alonzo Patterson was there, but Patterson took a tremendous hit. And Steve Dennis jarred him loose from the ball.
Good call, Pat. Steve Dennis from his cornerback position leads his man and comes over and just unloads on Alonzo Patterson. And boy, oh boy, what a great defensive play he made. He's a veteran. He knows how to play out there.
I'll tell you, really, football is not a fair game. The Argos have controlled the ball for only 3 minutes in this third quarter, yet they have a touchdown. Saskatchewan controlled it for over 10, and all they have is 2 field goals. The pass intended for Terry Greer is broken up by Billy McBride. Greer is still down on the field. Now he gets up. I think he was just a little infuriated.
Well, I think maybe he felt he should have made that catch, but you could just feel maybe the momentum shifting a little bit towards the Saskatchewan Roughriders. There's just over a minute left in the third quarter, but if the Saskatchewan offense could ever drive the football down and come up with a touchdown, we'd be really in for an exciting fourth quarter.
Well, you get the feeling that that certainly is within the realm of possibility. Carinci's punt. Not too deep. Fraser allows it to bounce, picks it up at his 32-yard line, and is dropped right at that point. 43 yards with the bounce. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders will begin just outside their 30. We've got 57 seconds left to play in the third quarter. It is Toronto 26, Saskatchewan 17. And there's the man that Bill Stevenson was talking about. a fellow that most people would agree was the biggest off-season acquisition by any team in the CFL, Hank Olisic, who came over to the Argos from the Edmonton Eskimos and is generally regarded as certainly the best punter in the CFL and one of the best in football anywhere. Stu Fraser makes the reception again. You've got to love that kid. He just never drops the football.
Well, for someone who's not really considered a threat in that receiving corps, he's certainly done an admirable job tonight. In the second quarter, he was the one who set up their first touchdown, and Mike Washington here in the third quarter doing a fine job running those out patterns. In fact, I think every pass he's caught tonight has been on the out.
Stu had caught 8 passes coming into this ball game, and as you see, he has caught 7 tonight for a season total of 15.
That's a great night.
First down, Riders from the 43. Adams pass complete to Ronnie Robinson. Oh, nice move by Robinson. Mind you, he only picked up an additional 4 yards, but it shows that he's in the ball game, that the Saskatchewan offense is in the ball game. That's what they need, somebody to spark them. Fraser and Robinson trying to do it right now.
Hey, I like this move coming up. Not only a good pass pattern, good throw by Adams. Watch this move here. This is some athletic ability. Little dipsy-doodle, nice little pirouette. Let's pick up 5 more yards, and listen to these fans. They're getting excited because their Roughriders are on the move.
I guess they're on the move. They're down to the Toronto 51.5-yard line. Adams' pass is caught by Christopher France inside the 35-yard line. However, there is a flag on the play. The initial indication is holding Saskatchewan.
Just as we talked about, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have hurt themselves not only tonight but in past ball games with mistakes and penalties. A great reception by Christopher France will be wiped out, what apparently is going to be a holding penalty.
Holding. Saskatchewan number 68. First down.
Laurie Skolrud, the left offensive tackle, holding the penalty. It negates the 19-yard gain by DeFrance, so the loss is actually 29 yards because the ball is back now to the Saskatchewan 49-yard line. Adams delivers beautifully, and the catch is made by Ron Robinson, and he will have the first down inside the Toronto 40-yard line. John Rose was there to make the tackle, but what a beautiful throw by Adams and an equally fine reception.
This is why Joe Farrelly is prepared to live and die with Joe Adams. Just a tremendous throw, just past the outstretched arms of middle linebacker Daryl Nicholson. Outstanding reception by Ron Robinson. That's the way to pick up a first down in a 1st and 20 situation in a hurry.
They gain 24 yards as the third quarter comes to an end with the Toronto Argonauts out in front of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 26-17. We'll return with fourth quarter action in a moment.
I adore my 64, my Commodore 64. I cook with it, scheme with it, educate the team with it. My Commodore 64. I pitch with it, catch with it, count my chicks before the hatch with it. My Commodore 64.
64K memory at a price that will put a computer in every home, business, and school years before anyone ever dreamed.
I adore my 64, my Commodore 64.
11 first downs in that third quarter for Saskatchewan, only 1 for Toronto. And let's have a look now as the Saskatchewan Roughriders with the first down at the Toronto 37. Look for Dwight Edwards. The pass is incomplete, so make it 2nd and 10, Saskatchewan at the Toronto 37-yard line. Toronto 26, Saskatchewan 17. Riders have been fighting, scratching, clawing their way back. They fell behind 14 points on an unfortunate fumble, but I'll tell you, they're back in this ball game. Washington put his head down, but couldn't break through. Richard Moore was one of those there to bring him down.
Excuse me, I really question that call. When you're behind 26-17, it seems as though you have created some momentum on your side. 2nd and 10 to run a trap play. I'm just not quite sure that's the right call to make.
Well, we're going to see Mr. Ridgway again, and this time it will come from 44 yards out, so that'll be a snap for him. He's been good on 2 from 46 and 46 and a half.
I'll tell you what, you know, the kicking in the CFL is just tremendous.
It's good. Ridgway is good on his third straight field goal. And how about this one, sports fans? The Saskatchewan Roughriders were down 14 points at one time in the third quarter. They have battled back. It is Toronto 26, Saskatchewan 20. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, there's a look at the three-quarter statistics. 20 first downs for Saskatchewan, 12 for Toronto, 11-1 in the third quarter alone. Joe Barnes at the control of the run and shoot, dumps it off to Bob Drunk. And the big tank just bowls his way out to about the 53 or 54-yard line before Andre Jones, the inside safety, number 28, finally brings him down. 19 yards the gain.
Not a great deal of finesse when Bob Block catches the football. He knows only one way to run with it, and that's straight ahead. Good block out front by 44, Mike Hamlock, the center.
So it is first down. Argos, they've got to put something together now because the momentum is all swung over to the Saskatchewan side. Barnes' pass complete to Terry Greer. And Greer has another Argo first down to the 41-yard line of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Again, Andre Jones brought him down. And a good thing that Jones was able to make that stop, because if he misses the tackle, forget it. Greer's in the end zone.
Excellent play selection by Joe Barnes, who's come into the ball game, and two good plays, a screen play and then another quick screen to the wide receiver, Terry Greer.
Joe Barnes formerly played with the Roughriders. Many were surprised when they allowed him to get away. Joe fires. He was looking for Greer, but the ball was well over his head and knocked away by Billy McBride. Tell me about that pattern, Leaf, because it was confusing to me to watch it, to see how Barnes delivered it. Greer did not appear to be in the area that Barnes expected him to be.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, Pat. The timing just was never there on that pass pattern. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Joe Barnes is the number 2 quarterback, and probably in practice he just doesn't get the necessary time to work with all the receivers, and consequently the timing was off.
Second and 10 Argos. Oh, nice move by Barnes to get away, and then looking for Paul Pearson, Wayne Galloway was able to knock it down, but we'll have an interference call against him.
Absolutely right. Joe Barnes does an excellent job to elude the blitzing Frank Robinson, number 37. But as we'll see, Paul Pearson is interfered with. Number 30, the newcomer, Dwayne Galloway, bumps him.
Saskatchewan number 30, first down.
Very impressive drive Joe Barnes has put together here.
Really the most impressive drive the Argos have had all night. Wayne Galloway, a rookie from Arizona State, called for pass interference. It is first down Argos, the ball at the Saskatchewan 23-yard line. The toss goes to Alonzo Patterson. Patterson fights his way inside the 20 before Marshall Hamilton upends him, number 24. Gain will be about 4 yards, so make it 2nd and 6. The ball spotted at the Saskatchewan 18. 26-20, Argos lead it here early in the fourth quarter. Barnes looks, throws to Terry Greer, who is behind him, but he fights his way in for the touchdown.
Oh, what a play by Terry Greer, just tremendous. I'm looking forward to seeing the replay on this one, because I think Terry Greer really made a one-handed catch on the play and just fought his way into the end zone. Good throw by Barnes, and what a tremendous drive the Argonauts have put together. The Saskatchewan Roughriders had momentum. The Argonauts have turned around, and yes, it was a one-handed catch. Shows you why he's the all-star receiver that he is, Pat.
Ball was just slightly behind him, as Leaf pointed out, grabbed it with one arm and then wasn't going to be denied the end zone. Just fights his way in with Billy McBride trying to prevent him, but unable to do so. Jan Carinci with the point after because of the injury to Hank Halisic. And so the Argos have gone up 33-20 over the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We'll be back in just a moment.
Terry Greer showing why he's an all-star wide receiver. Terry, congratulations. What were you running on the play?
Well, just a little quick slant. It was we call him in man-to-man coverage, and I just took a few steps and took him inside. And Joe made a good throw, and really I didn't think I'd get to the ball. I had to reach back and just stuck in there with one hand. So I'm just glad we scored because we really needed that.
Terry, the offense is having a little problem. What is it?
Well, I don't know. I think we just not consistent right now. Just having normal breakdowns, and I just think we get ourselves together, we'll be able to move the ball pretty well.
Well, he is a great receiver, and here's a good little kickoff returner to Fran McDermott, who ducks his way out to about the 23-yard line, and that's where the Riders will start, and the Riders now need touchdowns. They're trailing by 13 points.
Nice job by Jack Carinci kicking off, got that ball deep down into the end zone. Boy, he's valuable to the Argonauts. Seems whenever they need something done, he's the guy that does it, and always does a tremendous job.
He just got that new shoe that he's using to kick off this week. He had lost his other one. Matter of fact, so had Olisic. They lost them on a trip to Montreal. Somebody made off with their equipment bag. The pass is complete to Ronnie Robinson. I tell you, you've got to be impressed with him. He's giving everything he's got out there, fighting, struggling his way out to the 40-yard line for a pickup of 18 yards. And the Riders refuse to die. They are still trying to come back, trailing by 13.
Well, as you said, he's had a heck of a game. And when you get effort like that, when you're down by 19 points in the fourth quarter, you're getting some great effort out of your club and your players.
First down, Riders from the 40. Adams pass, threw it right into the coverage, looking for DeFrance.
Pass was intended for Christopher France.
But it was knocked away by Ron Morehouse, number 37.
Pass was knocked away by 37, Ron Morehouse.
Good activity by the Toronto linebacking core, number 37, Ron Morehouse, who was obtained from the BC Lions this year, and he does a good job to get out underneath that curl pattern by Christopher France, deflecting the ball away.
Still a lot of time to go. 10 minutes, 20 seconds left to play in the ball game, but the Riders need a first down right now. 2nd and 10 from their 40. Robinson again makes the catch. Inside Toronto's side of midfield at the 53-yard line. Ken McEachran makes the stop, but the gain is good for 18 yards.
Boy, it's nice to watch when a quarterback and receiver get that chemistry going. It appears as though Robinson and Adams have done that. He's making some big catches, and Joe Adams is putting the ball on the money.
First down, Roughriders at the 53-yard line of the Argonauts. Adams going deep for DeFrance, and he does not hang on to the ball.
That I don't believe it. One of the more reliable receivers in the CFL, Christopher France, has a chance to get his club back into this ball game in behind Lamont Meacham, but does not come up with the catch, and boy, that hurts. He knows it.
Checking up on the play, Saskatchewan 68, Skullroot.
Laurie Skullroot is coming to the sidelines. The training staff goes out to help him off the field. The time is whistled out momentarily with 9:35 left in the ball game. Ronnie Robinson has caught 6 passes tonight for 101 yards. And again, the Riders find themselves in a critical situation. 2nd and 10. Well, Adams fought his way for that one, and he's going to get a spearing penalty tacked on to that run. The Rough Riders pick up their first down. Earl Wilson made the tackle, but then there was a late hit by the Argos.
Well, Steve Ackroyd, who's been inserted into the Argos secondary as a 6th defensive back with Bill Mitchell, the linebacker, going out. It appears as though he might have come in a little bit late and put the hit on Joe Adams. The official on the spot. There you see the spearing call. Good call by the official. You got to protect.
Foul. Piling on. Toronto number 36.
You have to protect those quarterbacks, and I'm glad to see the officials make those calls.
So the Riders get their first down. They have possession at the Toronto 27-yard line. Adams going deep for DeFrance. He jumps, but the ball goes over his head. Good coverage. by Kenny McEachran.
Well, and Kenny's complaining to the official that the France interfered with him, and I think he might have a legitimate claim there as Christopher France came up over Ken's back. But Ken's had a good ball game. Could have had an interception earlier. Got a big sack when they needed a big defensive play, and I know the Argonauts are glad to have him in their lineup.
9 minutes, 10 seconds left to play in the ball game. Toronto 33, Saskatchewan 20. Second and 10, Roughriders at the Toronto 27-yard line. Dwight Edwards tried to make the reception, could not do so because of the good defensive play by Leroy Paul, number 4.
Well, those two, Edwards and Paul, they really go at each other each time they play. That time, Leroy Paul won the battle as he comes up over the top, makes an outstanding play, knocked that ball loose.
Dave Ridgway has kicked 4 field goals tonight. He's back onto the field right now on 3rd and 10. And this one will come from 34 yards out. He's been good from 37, 46, 46 and a half, 43, and this one comes from 34. And this time he's wide. McEachran fields the ball in the end zone. He's going to eat up a little bit of the clock. And finally steps out. The Saskatchewan Roughriders pick up a single point. They would have liked 3 instead of 1, but with 8:29 left to play in the ball game, Toronto still leads by 12 points, 33-21. We'll be back in just a moment.
The annual Saskatchewan Roughriders women's night will be held Friday.
Dr. Jerry Sklar, I was just talking to him about Hank Olisic. He said if we don't have to use him now, then he will be all right in 2 or 3 days because he's a real good athlete. He said if we used him now, we might injure it further, but he should be ready for the Hamilton game.
Thank you, Bill. Joe Barnes and the Argo offense would like to eat up some time. Alonzo Patterson takes the screen, and Patterson gets very close to a first down out to the 45-yard line. The placement of the ball will dictate whether or not he moves the sticks, and he does. Frank Robinson, the inside linebacker, made the stop, number 37. The Argos, 7 minutes, 58 seconds away from their 4th victory of the year. They have not lost in 1983. Toss goes to Patterson. I'll tell you, he is quick. He slashes in there with good speed and gets out over the 50 to about the 51-yard line. Pickup will be 6 yards, and again, Frank Robinson makes the stop.
Well, really, that's where the Argonauts have excelled this year. They've been able to replace people that have been injured, in this case, Alonzo Patterson for the injured Cedric Minner. But, you know, when you measure a team just to see how good they really are, you have to look at their backup strength and look at the great job Joe Barnes has come in and done, as well as Jan Carinci, Alonzo Patterson, a few of the others.
Barnes quickly to Terry Greer. Greer makes the reception at the Saskatchewan 50-yard line to move the yardsticks again. Well, you know, you talked about Joe Barnes. We had a nice chat with him this afternoon in the hotel. He's not only an impressive guy, but he's done an impressive job coming in here this evening. Looked extremely sharp.
Well, he has. His play selection's been very, very good. On that play, 2nd and 3, he knows there's no way Billy McBride can cover a quick out to Terry Greer unless he comes up and play bump and run. That's not the defensive style of the Riders. Easy first down pickup.
Barnes faked the draw. He's in trouble now, and very wisely slides to the turf. Leaped into the safe side.
Well, I tell you, it looked like he was looking for second base there as he came out on the rollout.
Wayne Galloway, was there to make the stop for the Roughriders.
You know, for fans who may not recall it, Pat and Leaf, Joe Barnes, when he first came into this league, was one of the best running quarterbacks there was in the league. And then he got hit hard and hurt a couple of times in Montreal, and since then has not been the runner. But when he first came up, he was a tremendous running quarterback.
Point well made. 2nd and 13. Barnes going for Taylor, and an interference flag comes down. Ken Taylor was looking to make his first reception in the CFL. He will pick up big yardage because of the interference call against Marshall Hamilton.
Well, Steve Dennis on the coverage, and he's trying to come underneath and go for the interception, but he just gets tangled up with Ken Taylor. The official has to make the call, and Another break for the Argonauts. Boy, they've had things pretty much their own way here in the second half.
Saskatchewan number 25, first down.
So the ball will be placed at the 28-yard line of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and this could be the final nail for their cause. They're trailing by 12 points, and the Argos are on the move again. The toss goes to Alonzo Patterson. Patterson coughs up the ball, but it rolls out of bounds.
And I'll tell you, Alonzo Patterson made a great play there, you know. He was alert enough as he was being tackled. He saw the ball loose, and if we get a chance, we'll get a chance to see it here. Watch as he goes down to the ground. He knows the ball's loose, but he has the presence of mind to knock it out of bounds.
And, of course, you have to have possession before it goes out of bounds. The Roughriders were trying to indicate that they had, which, of course, they did not. So, though the gain is but a yard, Patterson, nevertheless, does retain possession for the Argos. Barnes has been good on 5 of 8 passes since coming into the ball game. And this time going deep to the end zone for the touchdown to Emmanuel Tolbert. The ball couldn't be thrown any better by anybody than Joe Barnes just delivered to Emmanuel Tolbert. A 27-yard touchdown strike. A beauty.
Well, Conrad Holloway told us Joe Barnes could come in and do the job, and what a job he's done. The leading receiver in the Canadian Football League, number 19, Emmanuel Tolbert, just simply outruns Andre Jones. Great throw, nice catch, good protection by his offensive line. Nice touchdown.
I wonder what the Saskatchewan fans are thinking, considering that both Joe Barnes and Emmanuel Tolbert were once with these Roughriders.
I'll tell you, they've made some deals this year that you might have to question. The Argonauts were able to get Lyle Wozniacki, Marcellus Green, and really didn't have to give up anything. The trade for Ken McEachran. Dave Newman is no longer with the club, but really I'd have to question at this point some of the moves that the Saskatchewan management has made.
Well, the second touchdown pass of the evening for Joe Barnes as we go downstairs to Bill Stevenson.
Emmanuel Tolbert, was that a little sweeter because it was before the former hometown fans?
No doubt about it. I've been waiting for it. 3 quarters ago, but I hadn't got nothing. But I knew I could get him sooner or later. Just glad I came when it did.
Now, what you're telling me is that you were working on him and you finally broke up and took it.
That's right. I had told the quarterbacks, we tried to get him earlier. Just kind of was a little long. But quarterbacks kept looking. He was there.
And you were confident you were going to be able to do it with your speed?
No doubt about it.
Emmanuel, right.
Joe Adams has thrown the ball 52 times tonight. He is just 3 away from the single game record. So obviously, with 5:10 left, he's got an opportunity to break that. Grincy's kickoff goes out of bounds, and the Roughriders will request that the Argos do it again. Toronto 40, Saskatchewan 21 with 5:10 left to play in the ball game. The Argos have had their moments in this game, so have the Roughriders, but the Argos have been far more consistent.
Well, Bob Abilovich, he has to be pleased with the performance of his club tonight. Got off to a slow start, but have really capitalized on the errors that the Roughriders have made. And, you know, at this point last year, Pat, after 3 games, they were 1-1-1. Now they're going to win their 4th game 4-0, the only undefeated team, it appears, in the Canadian Football League. And I think that's a credit not only to his players, but to Bob Abilovich and his coaching staff.
You're talking about head coach Bob Abilovich. Let me tell you, he's walking around like a worried father-to-be instead of a guy that's sitting here with a 40-21 lead.
Those coaches, they're painful at the end of the game when they're ahead by so many points. They still make it think like the game's still in jeopardy.
Well, again, the kick goes out of bounds, and so there'll be another 5-yard penalty. Remember that Jan Karinci is replacing Hank Olisic in that category of kicking off.
You know, Pat, I can remember I was a kicker in university, and I kicked in a postseason all-star game in the States, and I had to start the game, and I hated kicking off, and I kicked 4 in a row out of bounds. And each time you walk back to kick it off again, the head gets lower and lower, and I know what Jan Karinski's going through. It's a duty that he doesn't often perform, but you like to just dig a hole and climb in for a while.
Those 4, is that an NCAA record?
I think it is. Small college.
Otterbein University. So from the 35-yard line now, Karinci boots it, not too deep. White Edwards. And Edwards struggles his way up close to midfield. A 28-yard return by Dwight Edwards. And so with 5 minutes and 3 seconds left to play in the game, and the Roughriders trailing 40-21, they will start from just about midfield. And with 3 passes, Joe Adams will tie the all-time single-game record that he himself holds. Pass is complete on the sideline, and good for a first down. Lamont Leacham and Leroy Paul providing the coverage.
Well, the Argonauts determined not to give anything deep now, or laying off those Saskatchewan receivers, and I'm sure you'll see Joe Adams go to those out patterns, which he's been going to all night.
First down, Saskatchewan, ball at the Toronto 43-yard line. The pass is complete once again down inside the 35 to about the 32. Christopher France makes the catch. Bill Mitchell the tackle. And so a record that Joe Adams shares with Tobin Rote will be broken tonight. Adams' pass is knocked away, looking for Stu Fraser, but Don Rose was there to bat it away.
Knocked away by number 6.
Well, Bob Lees, how many passes is that? That is 55, so you have just seen the Canadian Football League record. 55 pass attempts in one game. And how many has he completed? 28 out of 55. And yet they trail by 19 points, 40-21. Picked up the blitz well, and he delivers the ball to Christopher France for another first down at the 20-yard line, forced out by Lamont Meacham.
Well, Pat, you called it. The Toronto Argonauts coming with the blitz. I think Joe Adams changed the play at the line of scrimmage, going to the out pattern to Christopher France. Makes the catch, but boy, he would have liked to have that long catch that he dropped earlier in this fourth quarter. That would have really kept them close.
We've got 3 100-yard receivers in this game, and I'll tell you about that right after this play. It is first down, Saskatchewan. Adams was drilled, didn't see the tackler coming from the blind side.
Well, Bill Mitchell, number 39, the linebacker for the Toronto Argonauts, just came shooting through. Nobody picked him up, and he just had a free shot at Joe Adams, and I'm just glad that Joe Adams was able to get up off the ground after that hit. There's an Argonaut shaking up on the play, Cat.
Earl Wilson.
Earl Wilson.
So that'll afford us an opportunity to tell you that the Argos are in control of this one, leading 40-21. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, there's not much a quarterback can do when he doesn't see the guy coming from his blind side. Watch as Mitchell unloads on him. He really got drilled in the back. The ball comes loose. Fortunately for the Roughriders, Jim Mans was able to recover it. Earl Wilson, incidentally, is still down on the field with the Toronto training staff attending to him. But right now, let's go to Bill and a very prominent personality from this evening's ball game.
You're right, Joe Barnes, who for the second straight week has come in a fireman's role, and what a job you have done, Joe. Congratulations. It must feel good.
It does, especially when you're beating your former teammates and you're coming in playing well against them. And did it last week against Montreal, who I used to play for, and then this week against Saskatchewan, who I used to play for. So it feels good to come in and, and get some offense generated. And, I'm pretty happy about it all.
Well, you know that you're the man who comes in after Condredge, the way things have been going. Do you have to get mentally ready for something of that nature to play that role?
Yeah, of course, I prepare each game like, I'm going to be a starter, and, I've been in the league long enough to realize that you have to prepare yourself to play. And then, like I say, it's kind of easy when you're sitting around and watching and seeing what the defense does. And I just able to go out and, it's pretty easy, reading defense because they already have them figured out.
Let me ask you, are the mosquitoes as big in Texas as they are here?
I don't know about the mosquitoes, but the bites sure are.
Joe, our congratulations again.
Thanks a lot. Hi, Diana.
Well, he's in the oil business, and he sure struck oil tonight with his 2 touchdown passes for the Argos in relief of the injured Conrad Holloway. Now with second down, 17 yards to go. Adams needs something big. Delivers to Ron Robinson, who wasn't interested in making the catch, wanted to make sure that the Argos didn't pick it off. The Argos meaning Bill Mitchell, number 39. Incidentally, I mentioned that there were 3 100-yard pass receivers as we look at the injured Bubba Wilson on the sidelines. Ronnie Robinson has caught 6 for 101 yards for Saskatchewan. Terry Greer has caught 7 for 121 yards for Toronto. And Chris DeFrance has caught 7 for 107 yards for the Rough Riders. So on 3rd and 17, the Riders, trailing by 19, will go for it. And Adams will try to pick it up running. And he slides down at the 15-yard line, but that isn't enough for the first down. And with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the ball game, the Argo offense will take over.
Well, we talked about the inconsistency of Joe Adams, and that not only happens when he's throwing the football, really a mental error there. 3rd and 17, and Joe, you've got to try and get 17 yards, not slide at 13. But
well, he accomplished something with that run. He's emptied the stadium because everybody's getting up and bailing out. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the ball game. Toronto 40, Saskatchewan 21. And of course, at the conclusion of the game, we'll have the Carling O'Keefe Game Stars for you. One on offense, one on defense. Alonzo Patterson. And he just makes sure that he hangs on to the ball in the grasp of Frank Robinson.
Alonzo Patterson.
J.C. Paluzzi was there as well.
By Frank Robinson.
Just wanted to tell you, Pat, that the story on Bubba Wilson is an injured knee. They do not know how serious it is. And in cases such as this, normally it's the next day when the swelling comes down before they can tell.
Thank you, Bill. The pickup by Alonzo Patterson was a yard, so they get 2nd and 9, Argos at their 16. Clock is down to 2:30 left to play in the ball game. Pass right on the money once again to Terry Greer for the first down. Joe's throwing the ball as well tonight as I've seen him for a long, long time.
well, you know, it's that run and shoot offense I think suits the capabilities of both Conrad Holloway and Joe Barnes perfectly. It's a style where they can get rid of the football quickly. They know they're not going to take a great amount of hits, and with great receivers like Terry Greer, Paul Pearson, Emmanuel Tolbert, they can get open quickly.
First down, Argos. The ball is at their 31-yard line. They've got this one aced. It's 40-21. This is Tolbert. And a great run by Emmanuel Tolbert up around midfield. A little inside handoff to him. Picks up 20 yards.
Well, what they would call a slot back trap play is Emmanuel Tolbert from the slot back position just cuts back. It's a block from 69. Dan Ferroni kicking out the defensive tackle. And watch the open field running here. E.T., he likes to get that ball in the open field, put on the moves, the afterburners. Gets a little help from Terry Greer. And well-executed offensive play.
First down, Argos, the ball at their 53-yard line. And they're accomplishing what they set out to do, eat up the clock, as Alonzo Patterson takes the toss. And Patterson slashes his way across midfield to about the Saskatchewan 53 before Carl Morgan, the nose tackle, makes the stop. And I believe that's the first time I've mentioned Carl Morgan's name tonight.
Well, Pat, you know, it's fun to play football late in the fourth quarter. Fun to run with that ball when you're up 40-21 and you're still trying to move it downfield. I know Alonzo Patterson, he's enjoying it. Of course, Emmanuel Tolbert on that last play.
Argos chewing up the clock with a minute 40 left in the ball game. Well, it worked well on one side with Emmanuel Tolbert. They hand it inside to Bob Bronk, and he picks up, well, just a couple of yards.
Lead attack for the Riders, Carl Morgan.
J.C. Paluzzi brought him down. And so the Argos will have to turn the ball over to the Rough Riders with a minute 36 left on the clock.
And 6.
Toronto 40, Saskatchewan 21. The Argos go to 4-0. The Riders go to 1-3. Jan Carinci in place of the injured Hank Alyssa. Stu Fraser from his 15-yard line. Couldn't get away from Mike Hamiluk, who's always first downfield. Former Ottawa Sooner Jr. was there to make the stop after a 39-yard punt. and but a 3-yard return. You know, we mentioned Jan Carinci, who's a Toronto boy, went to the University of Maryland. He plays on special teams. He can kick, punt for them. He can kick off for them, kick field goals, plays as a running back, can catch the football. Just a tremendous asset for that Toronto Ball Club.
There's some Toronto.